Hello, everyone. My name is Oluwatosin Oderinde, and I'm honored to welcome you back to another milestone moment in our shared journey. First and foremost, I want to express my deepest, most heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you. Since we first created this group on October 11, 2019, we have built something far greater than the financial cycle. We have built an unbreakable bond of trust, oneness, and support. For nearly 7 years, spanning through 15 consecutive contribution streams, your consistency has been nothing short of exemplary. Together, we have celebrated births, birthdays, holidays, and milestones. We have stood by one another through life's deepest challenges. And we have broken that cooperative economics in not just a theory, it is our lived reality. My commitment to the success of this group and to the financial elevation of our community remains absolute. I'm dedicated to ensuring that Tonoos Capital, as a project of People Resources Corp, continues to be a safe, transparent, and highly successful ecosystem for everybody involved. So let's look at the specifics of the upcoming September 11th Stream 17. Next week, we officially close the chapter on Stream 16, and on Friday, September 11, 2026, we'll begin Stream 17, XBII, a stream that is poised to be the most historically significant cycle we have ever run. Let's lay out the hard numbers. We are launching a 15-cycle tentatively bi-weekly schedule starting September 11, 2026 and running through March 26, 2027. The pace payout per cycle will remain tentatively around $6,000, going by the 15 cycles of $1,400 every 2 weeks, representing a total collective capital distribution of $90,000 over the next 6 months. To ensure absolute 100% transparency, we will continue tracking our contributions and payouts in real time through our dedicated online ledger and digital dashboard. We are highly organized, we are focused, and we are ready. Now I want to talk about why Stream 17 is a complete game changer for us. In our earlier streams, from 1 through 16, our savings circles operated on a purely peer-to-peer basis. Every cycle, one individual received a lump sum payout for their personal milestones. Whether that was a home down payment, a vehicle purchase, or a savings goal, that peer-to-peer social engineering is beautiful, and it's always going to be a part of our DNA. But with Stream 17 coming up, we are taking a massive leap forward. If you look closely at our new final payout schedule, you will see something different. In Cycle 6 for November 20th, Cycle 7 for December 4th, Cycle 8 for December 18th, Cycle 9 for January 1st, we are officially introducing our first ever collective funding rounds under the designations Tonoos Cap 1, Tonoos Cap 2, Tonoos Cap 3, and Tonoos Cap 4. Instead of distributing these earlier payouts to individual members, we are pulling a total of $24,000 tentatively, depending on how many more members or how much less members are called up at the end of the day, directly into our collective corporate treasury. So this is our transition from isolated individual achievements to structured collective investments. This pooled capital acts as our group's common stock at Tonoos Capital Incorporated, and our preference stocks at People Resources Corp, which is the parent company. This will fuel our proprietary trading, our joint ventures, and community-led credit operations. So rather than simply saving money and letting it sit, we are putting our money to work collectively to generate sustainable wealth that benefits the entire group. Participation, however, will be optional to individual members who decide to buy into some of these funding rounds. Otherwise, there will be no action needed on your part. This funding round is a proof of concept for a future unified corporate structure. We are paving the way for a formalized ecosystem where TonoosCapital.com will be the online portal that serves as our global community, networking, and collaboration layer. People Resources Corp, as always, will act as the world-class operator parent, providing education and technology engine. And Tonoos Capital Incorporated, which will be in the future our third incorporation, operating as the trading arm and the investment wing, or prop trading, for our dedication to the online trade account. By structuring our saving circles to fund our corporate treasury, we are demonstrating a highly scalable blueprint for other circles to follow. Our goal is to prove that Diaspora connected communities in New York, across the United States, Europe, and Canada can seamlessly pool resources with our brothers and sisters in Lagos, Nigeria, and West Africa at large, to begin to pursue business ideations and corporations of whatever kind, inspired by what we have found in the Tonoos community. We are not just building businesses, we are building an institutional legacy. This is the model that will allow us to lead our grand vision, inspiring and seeding up to 500 at least new global sustainable enterprises by the year 2035. So as we prepare to launch Cycle 1 on the 11th September, I invite every member to step into the new era with confidence and pride. Your investment is more than capital. It's a pledge of commitment to our common identity, unity, and trust. So if you're listening to this and you want to take part on our ongoing economic movement, these steps are very simple. Decide what amount you are willing to further add to the pool as investment contribution. Then connect with me at some point before the new stream commences for preliminary discussion and setup. Secure your stake in our body of ventures, and then the rest is history. I thank you all once again for participating, and I would hope that we all go out there and build a legacy of shared prosperity that will live generations to come. God bless you all, and let's make Stream 17 our most successful stream yet. Thank you very much.
Imagine for a second that you are, just walking through the economic center of a major global city.
Right, like a massive financial hub.
Exactly. Let's say, New York.
Mm-hmm.
And you're walking past these towering skyscrapers, the bustling storefronts, the massive global banks.
Oh yeah, the classic concrete jungle.
Right. And as you walk, you realize something pretty profound. You know that within your specific community, like your demographic, there are countless individual success stories.
Right. You've got brilliant doctors, savvy entrepreneurs, top-tier engineers.
Exactly. But when you look around this massive, highly developed city, your community has no collective business district.
Oh, that's a powerful realization.
Right. There is no central trade consortium. There's, no incubative credit union to call your own.
Just isolated pockets of success.
Exactly. You have these isolated successes, but zero unified economic engines. So the question is, how do you build one from scratch?
I mean, it is a massive structural challenge. You can't just, mandate a business district into existence.
No, of course not.
You can't just point to a map, draw a circle, and declare, hey, we're going to build a cooperative economic empire right here.
Right. Because to do that requires capital, obviously.
Exactly. But more fundamentally, it requires a foundation of communal trust. And that's something that most, modern societies have completely lost touch with.
And tracing the origin, the building, and the ultimate weaponization of that trust is basically our mission today.
I am so ready for this.
Yeah. We are taking a deep dive into the incredible evolution of the Tonoos project. We're going to look at how this initiative evolved from, a grassroots digital savings group into a highly structured corporate wealth-building engine proposition.
It's quite the journey.
It really is. And specifically, we are zeroing in on the highly anticipated launch of their Stream X5II, which, interestingly enough, is actually their 17th stream cycle.
Right, and that officially kicks off on the 11th of September 2026.
Exactly. And the documentation we have for this deep dive is just uniquely fascinating.
It really is, because it spans the entire evolutionary timeline of a financial institution. We aren't just looking at, a polished corporate pitch deck that glosses over all the hard parts.
Far from it. The stack of sources we are pulling from today is incredibly rich.
Oh, it's massive.
Yeah. We have a sprawling archive of actual community group chat logs, and these are tracking bi-weekly financial contributions from 2019 all the way into 2026.
Which is wild to read through. Plus, we have detailed payout ledgers, a deeply strategic corporate manifesto outlining their legal architecture, and a transcript from a visionary project video detailing their endgame.
Yeah. It is a rare behind-the-scenes look at how you literally engineer collective wealth.
The chat logs really provide the human heartbeat, I think, while the manifesto and the ledgers, they kind of show us the structural skeleton.
Right. But to understand where Tonoos Capital is going with Stream 17 in 2026, we have to start at the root of the movement.
Definitely. We have to go back to the origin story.
So, let's do that. The founder of this project arrived in New York City in 2018, and he noticed exactly what we were just talking about in our little thought experiment.
The lack of a unified district.
Right. He looked at the Nigerian and Afro-Caribbean demographics especially, and saw, brilliant individuals achieving incredible things on a global scale.
Yeah.
But he observed a glaring void.
Yeah. There was no unified business arena.
Exactly. No community credit union, no equivalent of an industry city for the diaspora.
And this is a classic diaspora challenge.
Oh, total.
When communities migrate, they often bring immense individual human capital-like education drive skills, but their social and financial capital becomes heavily fragmented.
Right. They just get absorbed into the system.
Exactly. They are integrated into the broader economy as employees or, individual consumers, but they lack the cooperative infrastructure to actually pool resources.
So, in 2020, he launched the Tonoos project.
Uh-huh.
And the genius of his solution was the starting point.
Right, because he didn't start with some massive, complicated corporate entity.
No. He didn't try to launch a complex hedge fund, and he didn't set up a GoFundMe. He started with an ancient technology.
The SuSu.
Yes. He launched it as a modern SuSu.
Which is such a brilliant move.
It really is.
Yeah.
And for anyone who might not be familiar, a SuSu, or a savings circle, is a traditional communal arrangement found in various forms all over the world.
Yeah. It goes by different names depending on where you are.
Exactly. A group of people agree to contribute a set amount of money regularly into a central pot, and each time the pot reaches a certain amount, the total sum goes to one member of the group.
Right. Then the rotation just continues until everyone gets a payout.
Yeah. It is a financial system built entirely on honor and interpersonal reliance.
I mean, consider the mechanics of that for a second.
Okay.
If I get the lump sum payout in week 1, the rest of the group have to trust that I'm going to keep making my bi-weekly payments for the next 6 months.
Right. Otherwise, the last person in the rotation gets screwed.
Exactly. The founder's initial goal wasn't to build a corporate conglomerate right out of the gate. It was to manufacture trust and unity.
You have to prove the model works on a micro scale before you can scale it up.
Exactly. And the timeline of these chat logs really puts that trust into perspective.
Oh my gosh, yes. We are talking about years of incredible consistency across streams through XZ.
It's almost hard to believe.
It really is. You see these group members checking in every couple of weeks. Someone types, "Payment sent." Another replies, "Received," then, "Confirmed."
Cycle after cycle, year after year.
Yeah. The sheer discipline required to maintain that over half a decade is just staggering.
Absolutely. These participants were consistently contributing $400 via digital payment apps every few weeks.
$400? That's a lot of money to trust to a group chat.
It is. And in return, they were getting these $6,000 individual payouts for the standard 15 cycles per stream.
Which is life-changing capital for a lot of people.
Oh, completely.
The sources show participants using those payouts for major life milestones, like home down payments, purchasing cars, funding family getaways, or paying for schooling.
It really shows the real-world impact of the project.
Yeah. And what I found most moving was reading the interpersonal dynamics woven through these transactional messages.
Yes, the chats are so full of life.
They really are. Amidst all the Zelle sent and payment confirmed texts, you see a vibrant community life.
They celebrate birthdays, right?
Yeah. They celebrate birthdays. They share condolences. When a member's father passes away, they organized summer meet and greets in someone's backyard in Queens.
It ceases to be just a financial transaction at that point.
Exactly. Becomes an ecosystem of support.
And you can really see the founder's deep, consistent gratitude for the members throughout these years of chats.
Oh, yeah. He frequently pauses the logistics just to thank the group.
Especially the holdouts, right?
Yes, the holdouts. These were the members who stayed committed to the rotation year after year, ensuring the streams never broke down.
That consistency became the bedrock of literally everything that followed.
Okay, let's unpack this, because I was struggling with something while reading through the early streams.
Okay, what was that?
Individual payouts of $6,000 are fantastic for buying a car or partly putting a down payment on a house.
Sure.
But consumer spending doesn't build the business district.
Oh, right.
It doesn't build a corporate trade consortium. Once a member gets their $6,000, that money diffuses into the broader economy.
It goes to a car dealership or a university or a mortgage lender.
Exactly. So how does that build community wealth?
Well, you've hit on the fundamental limitation of the traditional savings circle.
Okay,
A SuSu is an incredible consumer savings vehicle. It helps individuals bypass traditional banks, which historically might have discriminatory lending practices or high interest rates, to access lump sums of cash.
right.
But as you noted, the capital disperses. It doesn't accumulate into a collective economic engine that produces yield or structural power for the community itself.
I was actually wondering why they didn't just pool the money into an investment fund back in 2021.
That's a common question.
Right. Why spend 6 years and 16 different stream cycles essentially just passing the same money around if the ultimate goal was always institutional wealth?
Think of it like stress testing the plumbing before you turn on the high-pressure water main of corporate capital.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Streams through 16 were a testing ground for human behavior. You cannot ask people to fund a corporate empire or buy into a complex vision of a diaspora trade consortium if you haven't first proven that the community can handle basic financial commitments without someone running off with the pot.
Right. Because if someone bails on a $400 payment, the whole thing collapses.
Exactly. And by early 2026, the plumbing had been tested against a global pandemic, severe economic shifts, and personal life changes.
The community had proven it was disciplined. The social capital was ironclad.
Yes, the trust was there.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because the sources show us the exact pivot point where the testing phase ends and the institutional phase begins.
September 11th, 2026.
Yes, this is the official launch of Stream 17, ZVII. And structurally, it is a completely different beast.
It really is.
For starters, they're moving away from relying solely on chat logs and spreadsheets and transitioning to a digital dashboard for real-time tracking.
That transition to a digital ledger is the first major signal.
Oh, totally.
It shifts the psychology of the group from, we are a casual community savings group to we are a structured financial institution with transparent, auditable systems.
But the real shock comes when you look at the math in the new ledger.
The numbers hit big fast.
Yeah. So Stream 17 still features 15 payout cycles, and the payout amount remains $6,000 per cycle.
Okay.
But over the course of the stream, running from September 2026 to March 2027, that creates a massive cumulative pool valuation of $90,000.
Which is a significantly larger pool, and that means the stakes and the potential leverage of that capital are much higher.
Yeah. And I have to play devil's advocate here, because looking at the final payout schedule for Stream 16, something radical happens.
Oh, the payout structure change.
Right.
Yeah.
The first 5 payout goes to an individual member. That makes sense based on the old model.
Sure.
But cycles 6, 7, 8, and 9, which take place in late 2026 through early 2027, they do not go to individuals.
They don't.
The ledger allocates those $6,000 payouts to internal slots labeled to Tonoos Cap 1, to Tonoos Cap 2, to Tonoos Cap 3, and to Tonoos Cap 4.
What's fascinating here is that you've just identified the exact mechanism of their evolution.
Really?
Yeah. Those 4 slots represent a structural metamorphosis.
But isn't it a massive leap of faith? I mean, instead of handing the community piggy bank to a person who can use it to buy a car, The members are now directly feeding a central corporate treasury.
It is a massive leap of faith.
Right. They are injecting at least $24,000 of their own hard-earned money into an abstract entity instead of taking an immediate personal payout.
It's a leap, but it's a calculated one made entirely possible by the 6-year runway of the previous 16 streams.
So the trust was the prerequisite.
Exactly. Those 4 Treasury slots to Tonoos Cap 1 through 4 represent a transition from consumer savings to collective capital funding rounds.
Wow.
Think of it like Series seed funding in Silicon Valley, but instead of venture capitalists writing a check, the community itself is systematically funding its own treasury.
So they are essentially purchasing equity in their own future ecosystem, rather than saving to buy personal items.
Precisely. They're capitalizing their own incubative credit union and trade cooperative.
That's incredible.
And the members trust the central entity because after 6 years of shared history, they understand that they are the central entity.
But if we have a community pumping $24,000 in dedicated capital and managing a total stream pool of $90,000, that requires a lot more rigor than a backyard meet and greet in Queens.
Oh, way more rigor.
If you suddenly have a treasury of that size, how do you stop it from just becoming like a chaotic group chat where everyone argues over which stocks to buy or which businesses to fund?
This brings us to the most impressive document in our source stack, the Corporate Manifesto.
Right, the manifesto.
The founder anticipated the chaos that comes with pooled capital. To mitigate that, he designed a highly specific 3-part legal and strategic architecture to govern, protect, and grow the community's wealth.
He didn't just pool the money and hope for the best.
No, he built a machine with very distinct moving parts.
Let's break down how that machine actually works, because the manifesto explicitly separates the ecosystem into 3 distinct pillars.
Right, starting with the first pillar.
Yeah. The first pillar is the core identity, Tonoos.com. The manifesto describes this as the community collaboration and opportunity network.
And the name itself is an acronym, right?
Yes. It stands for trust, oneness, novelties, opportunities, and onward success.
Tonoos.com basically serves as the social anchor. It is the soil of the ecosystem.
That's a good way to picture it.
This pillar is entirely about human connection, networking, mentorship, and collective support. It maintains the heart and the warmth of the original savings group.
But you can't generate institutional wealth on warm feelings alone, which is why the second pillar is so crucial.
Exactly. And that second pillar is PIP Resources Core.
The documents refer to it as the Education, Technology, and Trader Development Wing.
Right.
From my understanding, this is where the hard skills are transferred to the community.
Think of PIP Resources as the capability engine.
Okay.
If Tonoos.com is the community soil, PIP Resources is the fertilizer.
I like that analogy.
A common mistake community wealth projects make is pooling money without educating the members on how capital actually works. PIP Resources is designed to bridge that gap.
So this is where members log in to learn financial literacy, understand market mechanics, and even receive professional trader development.
Exactly. The goal is to ensure the community isn't just passively handing over money, but actively understanding how that money is being deployed.
Which leads directly into the third pillar, the entity we saw being funded in the StreamX 66 ledger, Tonoos Capital Incorporated.
Right, the powerhouse.
The manifesto outlines this as a proprietary trading firm, a research operations center, and a seed for the future credit union.
To put that into everyday terms, a proprietary trading firm or a prop firm is very different from a hedge fund.
How so?
Well, a hedge fund takes clients' money, trades it, and charges a fee for the service. A prop firm trades its own internal capital.
Oh, I see.
In this case, Tonoos Capital is taking that $24,000 seeded by the Tonoos Cap slots, trading it in the financial markets, and keeping the yields to grow the central treasury.
Wow! And the manifesto pairs that trading wing with the concept of an incubative credit union.
Yes,
When most people hear credit union, they just think of a local bank where you get a slightly better rate on a car loan.
right, a very traditional view.
But an incubative credit union sounds far more aggressive.
It is much more proactive. A traditional commercial bank looks at you as a set of risk metrics, your FICO score, your collateral.
Right.
An incubative credit union funded by the central Treasury exists to actively hatch and support local businesses within the community.
Oh, so it's directly funding the community's own ventures.
Exactly. It provides friendly, accessible capital based on community standing and collective trust, removing the massive friction that diaspora entrepreneurs usually face when trying to secure small business loans.
The functional separation of these three pillars is brilliant, but the manifesto goes out of its way to emphasize a very specific warning.
A marketing warning, yeah.
Yeah, it stresses that Tonoos.com should not be primarily marketed as a trading website.
Right.
Why such a hard line on the marketing?
It comes down to regulatory protection and strategic positioning.
Okay, that makes sense.
The financial industry is highly regulated by agencies like the SEC and FINRA. If you lump everything together into one entity and market it as a trading community, you immediately place a massive regulatory target on your back.
Oh, of course. Regulators treat investment groups with extreme scrutiny.
Exactly. By legally and functionally separating Tonoos.com from Tonoos Capital, the organization protects its primary identity as a cultural and educational ecosystem.
Ah, so the social layer remains safe from the inherent risks and heavy compliance burdens of the financial trading layer.
Spot on. It perfectly aligns the grassroots feel we saw in those chat logs with highly sophisticated corporate governance.
They get to keep the soul of the SuSu, but operate with the protective structure of a holding company.
Exactly. It ensures that even as they begin to manage hundreds of thousands, or eventually millions of dollars, the foundational elements of trust and oneness remain insulated from the friction of the financial markets.
So, what does this all mean?
Well, that's the big question.
I mean, I've been crunching these numbers, and a $90,000 cumulative pool is deeply impressive for a community savings group.
Very impressive.
But let's be honest, in the grand scheme of global finance, it's a drop in the bucket.
True.
Yet, when you read the transcript of the project's hero video, their endgame is just staggering.
It really is.
They aren't just trying to run a successful trading account in New York City. They state their goal is to inspire the formation of up to 500 new enterprises by the year 2035.
500. The scale of that ambition is breathtaking, especially when you consider where they started.
Exactly.
They are aiming to replicate cooperative wealth models across the entire West African and Nigerian diaspora globally.
Like everywhere.
Yeah, expanding this architecture across the US, Canada, the UK, and Europe.
But how on earth do they get from a $90,000 stream pool in 2026 to 500 functioning businesses by 2035?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it requires understanding the snowball effect of the three pillars working in unison.
Okay, lay it out for me.
That $90,000 stream pool isn't buying 500 businesses, it is the seed capital.
Right.
Tonoos Capital takes that seed and trades it to generate yield. That yield is then used to fund PIP resources, which educates the members.
And then the educated members do the building.
Exactly. Those educated members come up with business plans, which are subsequently funded by micro-equity or incubator loans from the Tonoos Capital Credit Union.
It's a closed-loop system of wealth creation.
Exactly. When one of those member-created LLCs succeeds, it feeds resources, knowledge, and potentially revenue back into the ecosystem, allowing the Treasury to fund 2 more businesses the next year.
That compounding effect is powerful.
Tonoos isn't just building a company, they're building a legacy. By synthesizing human capital through their network, social capital through their foundational trust, and financial capital through their prop firm, they are empowering entire generations to rise into enterprise.
They are literally building the architecture for that elusive business district we talked about at the beginning.
Yes, but they are doing it digitally and economically across the globe.
It is a complete paradigm shift in how we think about wealth building.
It really is.
We just went on quite the journey with this source material. I mean, we started with an immigrant's observation of economic isolation back in 2018.
A very common observation, but a unique response.
Right. That observation sparked a digital SuSu, which spent over half a decade painstakingly stress-testing communal trust through $400 bi-weekly contributions.
Just steady, relentless consistency.
And now we are looking at the dawn of Stream X6, a structured corporate capitalization effort acting as the launchpad for 500 new enterprises by 2035.
It is a masterclass in patience, discipline, and vision. You cannot build 500 enterprises overnight.
No, you definitely can't.
You have to build them one $400 contribution at a time, cycle after cycle, until the community collectively realizes the immense power they hold when they operate as a single unit.
Which brings me to a final thought I want to leave you with.
Okay, let's hear.
In modern finance, we are constantly obsessing over the next massive technological disruption. We assume the key to creating unprecedented wealth is going to be artificial intelligence or, a new blockchain iteration or some hyper-complex algorithmic trading model.
Right. We're always looking for the next app or algorithm.
Exactly. We constantly look to code and software to solve economic disparities.
And it creates a blind spot. We become so focused on digital technology that we forget about societal technology.
So what if the ultimate financial disruptor isn't a new string of code at all?
What if it's not tech?
Right. What if the most powerful economic engine on the planet is actually the ancient, deeply human technology of communal trust, simply digitized, structured, and scaled across a global diaspora?
Wow. It challenges the very foundation of how modern institutions assign value. Trust scales and compounding interest are powerful, but compounding trust might be unstoppable.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope this look into the Tonoos project inspires you to keep exploring the incredible, often untapped power of collective economics.
It's definitely changed how I see things.
The next time you walk through the center of a major city and look up at those towering corporate headquarters, ask yourself, who built this? And how can my community build ours? Keep wondering, keep learning, and we'll see you next time.